Alright, so hey guys, today in this video, I'm just going to do a quick sit down and I want to talk about what I think to be probably one of the most underrated Pokemon investments in 2024, which is going to be Crown Zenith. People are overlooking Crown Zenith, and it's definitely because it's a newer set, I think, being released at the start of 2023. It's really only about a year old. And we also did see a big reprint towards the end of 2023. So I think some people are definitely a bit concerned about it, how big that print run is going to be. So today we're going to talk about Crown Zenith, and we're also going to relate it to Shining Fates, because Shining Fates kind of a similar situation where it got a massive reprint. I'm going to talk about a couple of reasons why I think they're different sets. So to get right into this, first off, we really have to look at the cards in Crown Zenith. I mean, before we get into any of the products, just look at the cards. For me, Crown Zenith is an amazing set. You have the Galarian Gallery, obviously you have the Giratina, Arceus here, Mewtwo, Palkia and Dialga, the Leafeon's held really well. You have the Ancient Dogs, Raikou, Suicune and Entei, a Glaceon there, Lesser Sparkle, so it's a very deep set. You even have more cards down here. You have the Darkrai, Zacian, Dioxys. I mean, the set is very, very deep. The artwork is absolutely amazing. The point I'm trying to make to start with is that Crown Zenith has great artwork. It's got great chase cards. Nothing major, like the Giratina in Lost Origin is worth 3.5 times what the Giratina in this set is worth. But still great chase cards that people want. And I mean, if we take a closer look at some of these cards, you can see the Giratina. Obviously, it's dropped a lot this year. That makes sense from its release. But just keep in mind, the reprint came about here at the end, maybe a bit further down here, kind of towards the end of October. That's when we kind of saw prices drop. I'll show you the ETB here real quickly. It's around here somewhere. Awesome. So as you can see, about mid-October of 2023, that's kind of where we got the massive reprint. ETBs at that point were $57 and they dropped down to about $38. And we have seen a rebound back up to $43, which, by the way, that's a great sign. We'll get to that later. But just keep in mind, about mid-October is kind of where we saw the reprint. So obviously this card's gone down a bit, but it's actually recovered since about the end of November. It's up about 15% since that point. That's also a really good sign. We can look at some of the other cards which haven't been doing as well. The Arceus, as you can see, taking quite a beating. That makes sense. You have the Mewtwo, which seems like it's pretty close to bottoming out at this point. Beautiful artwork on this card. You have the Palkia, same kind of story. It looks like it's almost bottomed out at this point. What else do we have here? We have the Dialga, that's taken a beating as well, but to be expected. And then the Leafeon, which surprisingly has held pretty well. I mean, these are some of the top cards in the set here. Now, before I talk about some of the products, it's just good to point out, a booster pack's about $4 right now, so that kind of gives us an idea of what we're sort of aiming at when we're looking to buy a sealed investment. Personally, for me, I'm looking at this. Obviously, there's no image. I might throw up an image when I'm editing the video so you know what I'm talking about. The Crown Zenith Booster Bundle. I've been buying these at MSRP in Canada. So Walmart.ca, which is kind of the only place I've been able to find them at MSRP or better. They go for about $36 after tax. So that's about $6 Canadian a pack, which is about $4.45 American. So obviously it's a bit more expensive than what a loose pack is going for. But I think that the booster bundles are probably going to be one of the best products for Crown Zenith. Obviously right now you can get better value for your money if you buy an ETB. And I think if you have the space, definitely feel free to go for ETBs. Obviously, one of the issues in buying ETBs and getting rid of them long term, besides the storage problem, is that ETBs are very large products. So it's going to cost you more to ship. They're going to be more difficult to ship. There's going to be more bubble wrap involved, more packing. Whereas these smaller booster bundles, I'll throw the image up again when I'm doing the editing. These are going to be a lot easier to ship and get rid of when you're looking to sell them. Also, I just really love the front artwork of it. I don't know. I'm just not a huge Lucario fan. I don't think that's super important to long-term value. I think the more important thing is that they're smaller, they're more compact, And I've been buying up a lot of these when they are in stock at Walmart. I don't know if they're going to be restocked currently in the Canadian Walmart. They are out of stock. In the American one, they're in stock. They seem a bit more expensive, but if you can find these booster bundles, I definitely recommend picking them up. If you can't, obviously I think ETBs are also going to be a really strong investment. And then over here we have a couple other products I think will do well. We have the Pokemon Center Elite Trainer Box. This is obvious. I shouldn't even have to explain this to you guys if you have any sort of experience. You get more packs, you get the promo, it's more exclusive. Go with the PC ETBs if you can get them. And then finally, I think the Crown Zenith tins are going to do well with the Galarian birds. This is the Moltres tin. As you can see, kind of struck a low in the summer, $22. It's already back up to 27. Obviously, this is going to move more so with pack value, but I think the Moltres promo is pretty cool. If you want to put some money into this, that's fine. If you can find better value in the booster bundles or the ETBs, I'd probably go with those, but just another thing to keep in mind. Now, a lot of people are staying away from Crown Zenith right now because they think that it might be Shining Fates 2.0. Now, if you guys don't know about Shining Fates, came out, before the hype, let's see. Yeah, March 2021, it was really popular and it was doing quite well until the massive reprint came early 2022. So mid-February, it was about $64 in ETB, and then a couple months later, we were already down to $42, and it kept falling until about September of 2022, and it was sub $40 in ETB. Obviously, this is Poke data, so if you look at TCG Player, other sites, the numbers might be a bit off, but the point is that once this massive reprint came, we lost basically 33% of the value of these ETBs, and we haven't really recovered since then, which, obviously it hit a low of almost $33 at the end of last September, end of last summer. So, Shining Fates, there are a couple of reasons why I think Shining Fates and Crown Zenith are different. Obviously, the first thing is the cards. I mean, the depth of Crown Zenith. We'll go back here and look again. This is second page. Just look at the cards on the second page, right? Some of these probably aren't even the favorites. Obviously, they're not the favorites. They're on the second page. They're not as worth as much. We look at the top cards in the set. I mean, look at these cards, guys. You have the Giratina, Arceus, Mewtwo. We already went over this. Just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful artworks. So keep this in mind. Great cards in Crown Zenith. Here are the top 5 cards in Shining Fates. The first one, and the main card, is the Charizard VMAX. This is literally the only card with any value. TCG Player has it about $76. That makes sense. Second highest rated card in the set, Suicune, and it's sub $10. It's a yellow border. It's not a full art or anything. It's just Suicune, normal card. Third card, full art Skyla, $8. Galarian Rapidash, about $5 on TCG Player. And then we have the Ponyta, $5.40. So those are the top 5 cards in Shining Fates. Whereas here are the top 5 cards in Crown Zenith. Giratina V, Arceus, the Mewtwo. We'll get a better shot of the full Mewtwo. Beautiful. This is probably my favorite card in the set, to be honest. Then you have the Palkia, Dialga, even going a bit further, you have the Leafeon. So, compared to these cards, at least in my opinion, I love the Crown Zenith. It makes sense why they're worth more. These cards are kind of just meh. But the second point is, I don't think people understand how much Crown Zenith is out there, and I think a lot of people overestimate how large the reprint was. Obviously, if we go back and look at the Shining Fates, it hasn't recovered, and this has been over 2 years essentially at this point. So this was a massive, massive, massive reprint, and people just didn't want to open the set as much. But when I look at a lot of the online retailers here in Canada, we'll start with Hobby Shop. This is probably one of the biggest ones. If you're from Canada, you might know about this. They only have 17 Crown Zenith ETBs in stock right now. 17. If we go to another one over here, Kanzen Games, they have 7 ETBs in stock. Only 7 ETBs. Catch a card? Yeah, whoops. 1 ETB left, guys. 1 ETB with Catch a Card, and then Kanzen Games has 12 ETBs. So if we're looking at, online retailers trying to gauge an idea of how many are left, it doesn't seem like there's as many as we would think, even though there was a massive reprint. And again, if I can find it over here, when we look at the ETB price, we're already seeing it recover a bit. We're up 10%, 12% at this point since the end of last year, if you were buying ETBs at 38.44. So we've recovered a lot, and that's pretty quickly after the reprint. Again, mid-October we had the reprint, basically hit the bottom at the end of December, and we're already seeing it bounce back. I personally think that the reprint was smaller than a lot of people think, and I'm basing that purely off of how many boxes people have in stock. But even if the reprint is larger than what I personally think it is, Crown Zenith is going to do well long term because people love the cards in this set. There are tons and tons of hits besides just the big ones on the first and second page. Tons of hits in the set. People love opening it because the pull rates are decent. Artworks are fantastic. To conclude with this video, because I want to put this at the end of all my videos for transparency reasons, I own 24 booster bundles. I own 8 regular ETBs. I have 10 3-pack blisters. I'm trying to think if I own anything else in Crown Zenith. I'm going to take a quick look here, guys, just so I have it down here. Oh, and I have 24 Crown Zenith tins, whether that be Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno. Between those two, I have 24 tins. So 24 booster bundles, 24 tins, 10 3-pack blisters, and 8 regular ETBs. That's what I own in this position. So this is my opinion. Take with it what you will. Obviously, this isn't financial advice. If you have anything you want to share about Crown Zenith, feel free to leave it in the comments down below. If you got something out of this video, I'd really appreciate if you could like and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be bringing you guys more content. My goal is to help you guys, and obviously to help myself as well, make more money through Pokemon investing. And I think if you put some money into Crown Zenith, you're going to do well this year, if not 2-3 years down the line.